It's the Brewers and the Cubs on NBC Sports Chicago, home of the Authentic Fan. And tonight is our final Authentic Fan night of the season here at Wrigley Field. Beautiful night, cool temperatures. It kind of feels like a playoff situation. And these two teams at the top of the National League Central, the Cubs have 20 games to go. Milwaukee has 18 left, so it's a two-game lead. And this would be the final series between the two clubs here in the regular campaign. And welcome to Cubs baseball. Jim DeShays and Len Casper with you. Cubs had that rainy weekend in Washington, D.C. John Lester got an inning in, didn't count on Friday. He's able to come back and pitch tonight.
Yeah, big game for John, big game for the Cubs. The Brewers have pulled within two, as you mentioned, the closest they've been since the middle of August. The Cubs have really taken care of their home field here. They haven't lost a series in this ballpark since late May. And John Lester, you see his recent work over his last four starts. He's 3-0 with a 1.52 earned run average.
Left-hander Wade Miley, who beat the Cubs at Miller Park last week, will get the start for the visitors. Should be a lot of fun. The Cubs had the advantage early in the season. The Brewers have played the Cubs much tougher here lately. Game one coming up next.
Encourages you to experience amazing. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois. Through it all. Ford, who invites you to go further in their fuel-efficient vehicles. Check out our entire lineup at your local Ford store or buyfordnow.com. Menards, save big money at Menards. And by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency.
It is Cubs Authentic Fan Night here on NBC Sports Chicago. Make sure you share your photos with us all game long using the hashtag Authentic Fan, and we may show it later on in the telecast. Yep, this is a big one. Just 20 games left for the Cubs, 18 to go for Milwaukee, and the Cubs with a two-game lead in the division, 3 ahead in the loss column. And John Lester on the mound to face the following Brewers Southwest starting lineup. Second in the National League with 188 home runs, first in the league with 108 steals. Very athletic group. Kane and Yelich putting together great seasons. Aguilar, an all-star as well. Ryan Braun has always done damage against the Cubs and in this ballpark. Jonathan Scope with a game-winning grand slam yesterday to beat the Giants. Moustakas at third, Kratz the catcher. Orlando Arcia, the shortstop, batting eighth ahead of Wade Miley, the pitcher.
See where they set up for the Cubs this evening? It's brought to you by BP. Chris Bryant gets a start in left field. Albert Almora Jr. center. Ben Zobrist is in right. Baez and Russell man the left side of the infield. Murphy and Rizzo cover the right side. Wilson Contreras behind the plate. And the Lexus Experience Amazing starting pitcher is John Lester. Big John. Trout's out there with a 15-5 record of 3.53 earned run average. Lifetime 4-2 with a 2.40 versus the Brewers.
Here we go. Kane takes a little low for ball one to get us started. A little bit on the cool side, and the wind not doing a whole lot, but it is blowing in. And there's a soft liner that will get over Daniel Murphy, and Lorenzo Cain is on base, something he does very well. He reached base 9 times in the 3 games against the Cubs last week.
First pitch probably was a strike down around the bottom of the knees, called low. Then they try to go away, and John misses his spot, gets it in a little bit on the hands, and Cain able to muscle it into a right center field.
That's the crew chief, Gary Cedarstrom, back of the plate. Eric Cooper's at first, Corey Blazer at second, and Stu Sherwater at third. Christian Yelich rolls one into right. Kane will stop at second base, and the Brewers with back-to-back hits to start it.
Number 24.
So 2 on, nobody out for Jesus Aguilar.
Fastball, cutter, curve change from Lester, and he's a bit of a secret weapon's probably not the best way to put it, but the Brewers have not seen a lot of John despite all the games these two clubs play against each other. Did not face them at all last year, just once so far this season, and that was right at the start of the season. And in that ball game, that was back on April 5th, he pitched 6 shutout innings.
Brewers just swept the Giants. The Cubs lost 2 of 3 in a rain-shortened series at Washington. And a first pitch strike on a fastball, pegging the outside corner. After the Cubs salvaged the series finale last Wednesday, it was a 4-game spread. But the Brewers have cut that in half.
About this time last year that the Brewers came into Chicago and swept a 3-game set to move within 2 games. Obviously, if they do that this time, they're going to leave town in first place. Cubs went 6-1 on their last homestand. 10-0-3 in their last 13 home series. 31-14 in their last 45 home games. So they've taken care of business here at Wrigley.
In the dirt on a change, it's 1-1. 67 degrees, northeast breeze at 5. And clear skies, that's the best part.
Locked in, you guys are distracting me, man.
We didn't see the sun for 4 days in Washington.
10 hours of baseball, 11 hours of rain delays, basically.
A foul strike, and it's 1-2. Aguilar, one of the best waiver claims in recent memory. The Brewers got him from the Indians in February of last year. And as a Brewer, he has 47 home runs in 2 seasons. Swing and a miss. That's the first out.
Now batting, number 8, left fielder,
Ryan Braun.
Here's Braun. 8 out of 18 against Leicester in his career. Now a 2-homer game in the last series. The Brewers were here. And it was one of his plate appearances yesterday that seemed to turn their game around against the Giants. Madison Bumgarner threw 3 consecutive pitches in off the plate. The third one clipped Braun. His manager ended up getting ejected after arguing with Tom Hallion, and then Jonathan Scope, the next batter, hit a game-turning grand slam.
Brewers swept that set against the punchless San Francisco Giants. Braun not doing his normal damage against the Cubs this year, just 208 this season against Cub pitching.
2 on, 1 away, just getting started. Low on a fastball. Let's go back to yesterday at Miller Park. This was the 3rd inside pitch in that sequence. And Craig Counsell said the magic words. Tom Hallion kicked him out. The bench was really letting him have it. That's Wade Miley. He ended up getting kicked out. I think 3 guys were ejected. And then a curveball cranked to left. And that was the game-winning hit. That's a strike, 2-1. I talked to Counsell. He's been ejected 5 times this year. He had a long playing career. He was never ejected as a player. And he said, you know, emotions get high. Sometimes you're trying to protect your players. Sometimes you feel like it's just a really bad call. He said, sometimes I feel like a fool. But it's part of the game.
Yeah, managers get caught up in the emotion of the game, and normally if they're going to start arguing, nobody's going to get in the way of the manager. If a player does it, usually the manager or somebody's going to intercede, try to keep the player in the ball game.
Did not go, according to Eric Cooper.
So John was supposed to pitch Friday in Washington. Well, I guess he did. He pitched an inning, and then the rains came. But his last official start back on September 2nd in Philadelphia, 6 shutout innings in that ball game. Did not walk a man, struck out 7.
Speaking of rain, 2 postponements already on the East Coast. Nationals, Phillies rained out. Marlins, Mets will not play. Long pause in the stretch, the 3-1, and it's fouled straight back. Tough to do much with that cutting low fastball.
You get the sense that Braun thought he should have done more with it, though, and he had a similar expression after taking the 2-0 pitch. Anthony's playing way off the line there at first. Yelich taking a huge lead. Rizzo and Contreras quite often conspire when a guy takes a big lead.
Loaded as Braun draws the walk. And that will bring up the aforementioned Jonathan Scope. He's been better lately. Got off to a slow start after he was acquired from the Orioles. He's playing second base. Brewers have won 6 consecutive series.
Scope never been a real high average hitter. He doesn't take a lot of walks, but he does have plenty of power. Had a 32 home run season a couple of years back. 21 so far this year. .217 the batting average as a Brewer.
And a drive to deep left. Bryant back to the warning track. He'll make the catch. Kane will trot home. Jonathan Scope with a sacrifice fly, and it's 1-0. The way that came off the bat, I think the Cubs probably feel good that it was an out, even though they got a run. Moustakas now at 2 on, a run in. He turns 30 tomorrow. 37th game with the Brewers since being acquired from Kansas City. And we got a cross up as Braun trying to steal second, and Yelich was about 10 feet off the bag. And they continue the run down, and Murphy tags him out as Braun ended up heading back to first. Boy, you rarely, if ever, see a play develop like that. And Craig Counsell is going to head out to talk with the second base umpire, Corey Blazer, about what I'm not sure.
Yelich started, and that's probably why Braun took his cues, and then for whatever reason, Yelich slammed on the brakes.
Well, he's probably seen an interference call there. Interfered with him. 1-0. Murphy, Bryant, and Rizzo at the top. Baez, Zobrist, and Almora in the middle. Contreras, Lester, and Russell 7 through 9.
Brewers defensively brought to you by BP. Outfield of Braun, Kane, Yelich. Very good. Infield, Moustakas, Arcia, Stope, Aguilar. Eric Kratz will do the catching. And the Lexus amazing starting pitcher, experienced amazing starting pitcher for the Brewers is a veteran left-hander Wade Miley. A couple stints on the DL, so just 12 starts. But he's been rock solid. He's 3-2 with a 2.12. The Brewers are 8-4 in his starts. Not overpowering guy, but a good mix of pitches. Fastball that he really likes to cut a lot. He'll throw a curveball and a change. Typically keeps the ball down around the knees. Works very quickly.
First pitch to Murphy is on the outside corner for a strike. The 0-1 inside for a ball. The leadoff man is presented by Benny's Beverage Depot. If Murphy gets a hit, Benny's will donate $100 to the Greater Chicago Food Depository. 2-1. By the way, that game in Philadelphia, it was not technically rained out. It was postponed due to wet grounds. The infield was unplayable. That one smack foul to left. So they've got a straight up doubleheader scheduled tomorrow.
They'll probably be playing a lift, clean, in place. They played golf there today in Philly. Finished the golf tournament.
Oh, that's where it was.
Yeah. Touch of fall in the air. A great atmosphere here in the ballpark for this big series. Biggest game of the year right now. Probably until tomorrow night.
3-2 is rolled foul. we said it last week. If the Cubs could just at least get one in that series and get out of there with a 4-game lead, that would be the bare minimum of what you'd want, and that's what they got. But then they lost 2 of 3 over the weekend while the Brewers were sweeping the Giants. The payoff pitch, and Braun will catch this liner.
Brewers have 9 games left at home, 9 on the road, beginning with tonight's ball game. Cubs are home heavy the rest of the way. They have a 3-game set with the Diamondbacks. Everything else will take place here in Chicago, with everything at Wrigley except for 3 over on the south side. Just in terms of the level of competition, maybe the Brewers, what they have remaining on their schedule, a little bit softer, but the home road thing certainly favors the Cubs.
Bryant pulls one, and it gets past Moustakas in the left. Chris is going to try for 2, and he will make it. Tricky one hopper, and Moustakas couldn't get it. And it will be a double for Bryant.
I was thinking earlier this afternoon, this would be a good time for KB to put the boys on his shoulders, you know, and say, hey, fellas, let me carry you for a while. Anthony Rizzo's been doing a lot of the heavy lifting. And Chris swinging the bat pretty well since coming off the disabled list. .280 the batting average. Not a lot of slugging yet, but I figure that's going to come eventually.
Tying run at second with 1 out, and the pitch to Rizzo is low and outside on that cutter. Will Miley has looked at a lot of video of John Lester, as he has really made that a featured pitch in his arsenal.
He threw a bunch of them in his start against the Cubs over in Milwaukee. Scope out there in shallow right. He's moving into the 34% wedge.
StatCast AI is powered by AWS. Two and one.
I think we should name each of those wedges like Science and Nature, Arts and Literature, Trivial Pursuit, little wedges, yeah, little pies. Anthony was .313 on the road trip. He's batting .415 over his last 15 ball games.
Just crushed one foul by a couple of feet.
Yeah, so speculated, and you just never know, that it might be advantage Lester in that the Brewers haven't seen much of him. Now the Cubs, they have the advantage of having seen Miley just 6 days ago.
To first and foul. Well, like everything else, it's an advantage until it isn't.
Right. I mean, it's easy. You can claim that it's an advantage for the Cubs because they just faced them, but I'm not convinced that it is.
If the Cubs face Max Scherzer Thursday, I don't know if you convince a lot of people they would have the advantage.
No, you never have an advantage when you face Scherzer. You just hope that you'd be a little bit better against him this time than you were last time. Somebody I'm sure has studied it. That would be something worth looking into. Second consecutive start for a pitcher against the same club. What do the numbers look like the second time?
Seems like you'd like to give somebody else some work to do.
I want to assign homework.
Throw goes into center field. Bryant will make his way to third, and no throw from Kane. That's a bad mistake for Miley. And now Rizzo has a chance to tie the game without a hit.
Yeah, Brewers with a little bit of a base running blunder in the top half of the inning. Now miscue here by Miley. Sails this throw into center field, and Lorenzo Cain opting not to try to make a play on Bryan. He made two throwing errors, or two errors anyway, in the series against the Cubs in Milwaukee. One a mishandle coming up trying to make a throw, and then the second time an errant throw. Both times Javi Baez going first to third on base hits.
So contact for Rizzo, and the throw by Aguilar will not be made. He'll take it to the bag. It's an RBI for Rizzo, his 92nd, and a tie ball game.
Anthony went way down to get this ball, just beats it into the dirt in front of home plate. Contact pays off. Little peek over his shoulder to make sure that KB's coming home. That's the old "don't leave me hanging." I put it in play. Come on home.
Ball one to Baez. Topping the NL in RBIs, tied with Eugenio Suarez. He leads the league in slugging at 566. And El Mago t-shirt giveaway tonight.
I love the hat.
Three balls, no strikes. Each team with a first inning run. Swing and a miss.
Baby.
Fastball count, got a changeup.
Did not want to give in there through the 3-0 let up. Turns it over off the outside edge. Javi cheating on a heater. Why not?
Another one for a strike. Quick delivery, the pitch, low. Another changeup, ball four. That will give Ben Zobrist a chance with a man on and two down.
Good work by Javi there. A lot of guys, once they get to that 3-2 count, they'll psych themselves out. They'll kind of talk themselves into thinking they're going to get a pitch to hit.
Christian Yelich leading the National League in hitting. He's at 317 after his first inning single. Zobrist came in third at 313. Pretty good lead by Javi's not going, and the pitch is missed. 1-1.
And 363 since the All-Star break.
Lorenzo Cain has jumped into the top five with that first inning hit. Backhanded play and a bobble by Scope, and an infield hit for Zobrist. Been a tough play for Scope. Again, the play not made.
And Moustakas could have made the play on Bryant's ball. Scope maybe had a shot if he gets that one cleanly. And I'm not so sure that, you know, I doubt that they have a play at second, but RC was nowhere in the neighborhood of that ground ball. I don't know that he was playing real strong pull on Zobrist, perhaps. I'm just going to have to assume he was. I didn't see exactly where he was positioned prior to the pitch. He was never really in the picture.
First and second, now Albert Almora Jr. And the pitch is down on a curveball.
Yeah, he was way to pull. He's not even in the picture there to begin with. The magic of television. You can ask these questions and get immediate responses.
It's a team effort.
Getting back to the whole back-to-back starts for a pitcher against the same club without having that homework assigned yet and the information delivered. Just anecdotally, what I remember from my career so many years ago, it seems that if I had a good one against a club and faced them 5 days later, it usually didn't turn out so well. And conversely, if I had a bad one, then the second one was better. I don't know if that's true or not. That's just my sense.
Regression was always at play. Yeah.
Well, as a pitcher, you can talk yourself out of your best game plan because, well, I did this last time and it worked, but they're going to be looking for it. You start to change things up. You get away from your own game, and probably less so now with all the scouting reports and
2-1 to Albert.
So much more information available. Pitcher's probably not going to change what he does against opposing hitters all that much from one start to the next.
There's the sign from his catcher Kratz, and the pitch is low again. 3-1. They are really making Wade Miley labor. He's nearing 30 pitches here in the first. Miley 31, 6 feet 220. Is an easy play for Aguilar. So stayed off the barrel there with a changeup. Cubs do get a run, tie it up 1-1 after an inning.
Report a pivotal 3-game stretch here between the Cubs and Brewers, and oftentimes at this time of year you'll hear players tell you every game is a must-win game, but before this one Almora said, for the first time I'll say it, yeah, this is a big one. This is one we definitely want to take control of and run away with it after this. A highly anticipated matchup that, guys, Joe Madden went ahead and made the comparison to a Liston-Ali showdown here in September between a couple of heavyweights.
Thank you, Kelly. It's a 1-1 tie as Mike Moustakas jumps on the first pitch. Almora's back. He will watch it go off the wall, and Moustakas towards second will dive in with a double. I think he thought he hit it out, and he nearly did. It's a double. Wind blowing kind of in. It's not doing a whole lot right now.
Yeah, it was blowing a little bit harder earlier today. Moustakas really leans on this one. Off the Bricks, well played by Almora, made it fairly close at second base.
That brings up the catcher Kratz, splitting time with Manny Pena, but he did start all 3 games against the Cubs last week. Pena back after taking some stitches in the mouth, hit by a pitch a couple of weeks ago. Lead man at second. Buster's 1-0. High drive out into deep left center. And Bryant at the wall makes a catch. Moustakas tags. He's on his way to third, and he is barely in. Whoa, that was close. Kratz nearly hit a 2-run homer, and then Bryant almost threw out Moustakas at third.
That was a very interesting play off the bat. I thought this ball was going to fly out of the park. Great play by Bryant. Then he launches this throw to third base, and Baez slapping that tag on the low back. See Javi trying to deke Moustakas there, and he was in. He was safe.
I don't know what you thought, but I started to think it was going to leave the yard. And Bryant got all the way back to the ivy, but he had just enough room. Brewers are jumping all over early pitches in the sequence. Infield in against Arcia, and he takes high. So Arcia is the 8th Brewer to bat, and that's just the 19th pitch thrown by John. Kick in a 1-0 and line for a base hit. That might be caught if Russell's back. But you're playing in to cut off that man at third, and Moustakas will score. It's 2-1.
Yeah, especially down near the bottom of the batting order, you feel like there's less of a chance that the opposition is going to put a big number on you, so you're more willing to risk and pull that infield in this situation.
Puts Miley in a possible bunting situation. Squares early, pulls the bat back, and he fouled away with Baez, as you see, about 30 feet away.
Javi basically telling Rizzo, you stay home, I got this. Really left Miley with no choice but to pull it back and swing. That was in his head a little bit.
Baez will stay in, way in. And a foul tip, strike 3. Second strikeout for John. And back to the top end, Lorenzo Cain. Cain, according to Baseball Reference, leads all National League position players in wins above replacement with 6.1. His teammate Christian Yelich third, 5.4. It's on base a lot. Has 26 steals. Plays excellent defense in center. A World Series ring with Kansas City. That's the one thing I wanted to point out about the Brewers. They're a team that has kind of been ascending and trying to get to that next level. They bring in Cain. They trade for Moustakas. These guys were World Series champs in 2015. That's a strike. And their manager, and I don't know how this plays into it, Craig Counsell, was a part of 2 Game 7 final at bat series clinching rallies with the Florida Marlins in 1997 and the Diamondbacks in 2001. So it's not as if they don't have people within that clubhouse who haven't experienced great things.
Yeah, the whole experience part of it too can be really overstated. As a matter of fact, statistically, there's no evidence to suggest that an experienced team in the postseason has any kind of an advantage over an inexperienced team. But I think there is some value in guys that have been there. Just, they can talk to their teammates.
Kane is 2 for 2.
The aggressive approach continues, and nobody has been more aggressive than Christian Yelich. This run he's been on in the last month or so, he's been very aggressive, and he's hitting over 500 when he puts the first pitch in play. He's hit 8 first pitch home runs this year. As a left-handed batter, he has not been shut down, neutralized at all by left-handed pitching. He's an OPS up over 900 against southpaws.
So what's the tweak John would make with all these early swings and 5 hits in the first 2 innings?
Well, I think he's searching right now.
In tight on Yelich.
Sometimes in tight just to kind of keep guys honest, push him off the plate a little bit. I don't think he has real good feel for his secondary pitches right now.
Two 1 Milwaukee. 2 on, 2 down. And Yelich fouls. John has pitched in many huge, not only playoff-like games, but postseason games literally. He's got 3 World Series rings. '21 postseason starts. So you never worry about the moment getting to him. Trying to get out of his second inning. Yelich now with a 26 game on base streak. Brewers are 70 and 40 when he reaches at least once. Cubs have a similar record when Anthony Rizzo gets on. So once Rizzo reaches base tonight, we just cancel that stat out and we come up with a new one that will fit the narrative.
So good because he covers everything. Gets the ball to all fields. Handles velocity. I figured the home run numbers would go up when he made the move from Miami to Milwaukee. Better ballpark to hit in, and they have.
Runners take off on 3-2, and Yelich just got a piece.
Good pitch. Slow curveball right on the edge, just able to get a piece of it.
Huge crowd tonight. Game 1 of 3. Strike 3 called. He got the outside corner on a cutter. And Yelich will talk it over with Gary Cederstrom. The Brewers do get the lead again. It's 2-1.
$100,000 in cash and prizes. More at paysbig.com/Route 66.
Each team with a run in a half inning. 2-1 Milwaukee. Cubs bat here in the bottom of the second.
Miley's one of those guys who works quickly, but he doesn't exactly quote unquote pound the strike zone. Works off the edges, tries to get you to expand. And so maybe therein lies the advantage for the Cubs, having seen him just last week. They know that about his approach.
Two bounces to Arcia. Loads to Aguilar for the first out. Something about a Miley Smiley matchup at some point this fall will not happen. Drew Smiley just ran out of time on his return from Tommy John surgery. He will not be in play here down the stretch. Brandon Morrow did throw off the mound in the rain in Washington yesterday. Jason Hayward did some light running on the field today. Still no real timetable for his return. This is the start of the third to final week of the season.
John can hit it over their heads.
He can, but he didn't. Yep. As he bounces out. It is September. Everybody in. Support the Cubs during this final month as they push their way towards postseason baseball. Tickets are still available for tomorrow and Wednesday night's games. Visit Cubs.com before it's too late.
Well, Cubs got to get Addison going. They've got to get Wilson Contreras going. Be real difference makers down the stretch.
Yep. Getting those two guys hot at the plate, getting Hayward back healthy. And Topper foul to third. So the Cubs were rained out on Friday and Sunday, but had to spend both days at the ballpark for quite a while, so you don't really consider them off days. we'll call them scheduled game days. The way it's looking now, it's going to be 30 in a row with the makeup game added on Thursday back in D.C. and with the weather forecast and the hurricane. I mean, there's all kinds of things that could happen. But I count now 40 of the final 41 days of the Cubs season, and we'll have a game scheduled.
Yeah,
that's a lot.
You talk about a grind, and we complain a lot about September baseball because it can really be sluggish, but it pays off, and just in terms of having extra bodies and extra arms in the bullpen when you go through a stretch like that. Yeah, I just don't see how this Thursday thing in Washington is gonna play out.
1-2, and then the Cubs off day is the 20th, but it comes after a late return from Arizona. That is a night game in Phoenix, and then they have a late afternoon start on that Friday against the White Sox on the south side. Russell strikes out. 1-2-3 go the Cubs in the second. First time either team has not scored. 2-1 Brewers.
Plan year 2019 spring travel to Sloan Park in Mesa, Arizona. VIP packages are on sale now and include game tickets, hotel accommodations, and a rental car. Cub swag, private meet and greet with Cub players, and more. For more information, visit Cubs.com/destinations.
Hey, we want to welcome Arlo White to the ballpark. He's a big Cub fan, and he is the lead soccer commentator for NBC Sports. He decides on his vacation to come to Wrigley Field.
He was up at Lambeau for the football game last night.
The other kind of football. Aguilar rolls one to Baez at third. And rifles across to Rizzo for the out. 2-1 Milwaukee leading. Braun walked in the first. And bats here in the third.
Brewers able to score a couple runs off John, but not deliver the big knockout blow. Haven't put a crooked number up on the board despite a lot of base runners. And see if John now is able to settle in and start to find his rhythm.
Hearty welcome to the NBC Sports Chicago viewers watching and streaming our Cubs game tonight on Muscatine Power and Water in Muscatine, Iowa. One ball, one strike to Braun. Foster to the plate. Strike two. John's been Rain Man this year. I'm going to say probably 4 or 5 of his starts have been affected by rain. Swing and a miss, strike three. Every staff has one guy who seems to be that guy. Unfortunately, okay tonight in terms of the weather.
Yeah, no worries at all tonight, and Braun just fell victim to the take the strike, swing at the ball's plate appearance. Had a couple pitches to hit, was passive, and then decided to attack, and it was a neck-high fastball.
Pitch to Scope. He's in for a called strike. Deep sac fly to the warning track in the first. Big night already for Scooter Gennett. He is 4 for 4. Now hitting .320, and the Reds lead the Dodgers 8-4 in the bottom of the 6th. Suarez has hit his 32nd. There is a Wood-Reed matchup. Both starters are out of the game. Three balls and a strike. Foster trying to keep the Brewers off the board for the first time. I always feel like you need that clean 1-2-3 as a starter to get settled in. He hasn't been able to do that through the first two.
Yeah, pitching under duress first couple of innings. This reminds me a little bit of his start 2 starts ago against the Mets. And they put 3 runs on the board against him early, and they had him on the ropes. Then he hung in there and made it through 6, did not allow any more the rest of the way. No decision in that game, but the Cubs went on to win 7-4.
Slow windup, and a 3-2 is popped up. Rizzo into foul ground, makes the catch, and John does get that 1-2-3 third. Milwaukee 2, Cubs 1 in a big one. Wednesday, Cubs Brewers 7:05, and up to the first 10,000 early arriving fans
Receive a Cubs digital alarm clock presented by NG. Get your tickets now, Cubs.com.
Miley to Murphy. First pitch swinging, and Moustakas playing in with a nifty pick. And he gets him 5-3.
Yeah, tough chance. We talk about that one a lot. Third baseman with a left-handed hitter slashing one in that direction.
Couple of Cubs minor league notes. Congrats to the South Bend Cubs. They will host the 2019 Midwest League All-Star Game. That was announced earlier today. And the Eugene Emeralds, what a story they've been in the Northwest League playoffs. Beat Spokane 3-2 in Game 1 of the championship series last night. So the M's are 3-0 in the postseason. After not engineering a 3-game winning streak during the entire regular season, they had the worst record in the league. But they finished second in their division in the second half. Got a playoff spot, and they're 2 wins away from winning the championship.
They're laying in the weeds.
Game 2 is later tonight. Now, all those games are at Eugene's home park. They are the road team, I guess, tonight. Due to a scheduling issue at Spokane's park. Pulled foul by Chris. He doubled and scored in the first.
You see Miley's MO here with Chris. Changeups down and away, cutters in. Pulled the ball last time and sharply threw Moustakas at third for a 2-base hit. Charlie.
Moustakas with another chance.
Yeah, a lot of ground balls when Miley's on his game, and you would think there'd be a lot of them on the left side of the infield, so it should be a busy night for Moustakas and Arcia.
Run in the first was unearned because of Miley's errant pickoff toss to second. Rizzo got the RBI. And the ground out, knocking in Bryant from third. This pitch is off the outside corner. He has retired 6 in a row, and 5 outs on the ground, plus a strikeout.
Yeah, and I think it was his game last week where Cubs only hit a couple balls in the outfield in the air the entire game against him.
Moving in is Scope, Scoop, and he gets Rizzo. For the 4th inning, Brewers 2, Cubs 1. These fans have been sharing their Cubs fandom all night long. Post your picks and use the hashtag #AuthenticFan, and you might be featured later in the broadcast. Correction, the run charged to Miley was earned in the first. As Moustakas takes a cutter off the outside corner. Both runs charged to Lester of the earned variety. John's current ERA is 3.58. An all-star this year for the 5th time. And he's pitched much better here the last few times out. Swing and a miss. Moustakas.
Yeah, he's been pretty steady all year long. He's had a couple of clunkers along the way, and back on the 11th of August, Nationals got him for 9 runs and 3 2/3. And it was after that he really stomped on the gas pedal. Last 4 has been really good.
He and Zach Greinke tied for the longest streak of 150 inning seasons, 11 in a row. They're now up over 160 on the year. Missed the outside.
162 is the threshold to be listed among the league leaders at the end of the year.
So if he gets through this inning, he will qualify.
Number seems to be going down every year, the number of guys who do qualify, because starting pitchers just don't pitch as much as they used to. They'll probably have to tweak that a little bit. Currently 32 pitchers have pitched enough innings to qualify, so it's 1 inning pitch per team game played.
Moustakas draws the walk. John not happy with himself. That is a leadoff freebie. And it brings up Kratz, who took him to the warning track in the 2nd inning.
Kratz, a veteran with way more minor league time than big league time. Not accomplished hitter, but he's a strong guy, and if you make a mistake, he can hit it a long way.
Cardinals start the night 4.5 behind the Cubs, 3rd place, and holding the 2nd wild card spot. 1 ahead of the Dodgers. We mentioned the Dodgers trailing, while the Cardinals are down 2.
Adam Wainwright making his return. Started for St. Louis tonight.
Pirates lead that game 4-0, and the browser is refreshing. Do you have the inning?
I've got bottom 3rd.
Bottom 3rd. 4-0 Pirates.
Trevor Williams, Adam Wainwright. Wainwright has allowed 4 runs in 3 innings.
1-2 to Kratz. Successful return to Detroit for Justin Verlander. Astros beat the Tigers 3-2. Verlander went 7 and struck out 10 to notch his 15th win.
They play a day game?
I don't believe they did. Well, I'm going to find out what time that game started based on your query.
Must have been earlier, maybe because the Lions are playing. Maybe
they started at 5:40 our time. No, 5:10. Yep, I think they moved the game up. Yep, because of the Monday night game in Detroit, the NFL game. That's exactly right. Kratz strikes out.
Folks, there is still time to plan a group outing for games during the final week of the regular season. The Cubs offer ticket packages that include special perks for groups of 15 or more. To book your group experience, visit Cubs.com/groups. Act now, you're running out of time.
Orlando Arcia, RBI single, second inning, giving the Brewers their current advantage. Pitcher is on deck, Miley. Deep center, Almora takes a look back, but he'll have room. Fairly easy chance that time. Just looking today at the outs above average leaderboard. So they add up the catch probability, and they have a plus minus. And Albert is tied for 7th. Among outfielders, Lorenzo Cain is 5th.
Harrison Bader's got to be near the top of that list.
He might be number 1. I don't have the whole list. I just grabbed the 2 guys playing in this series. Actually, I think Yelich might be on the list too. Really tardy, 1-1.
Can hit a little bit.
Miley strikes out. John works around the leadoff walk. Still 2-1 visitors.
Cubs Authentic Fan Night, and Jim Mack, our Cubs Authentic Fan of the evening. What makes you the perfect Authentic Fan tonight?
Well, I think it's just my excitement and enthusiasm for the Cubs. I was, you know, the World Series, Game 7, loyalty all these years. I was a little guy, started collecting baseball cards, and I always wanted the Cubs. I'd trade my superstars for my Cubs.
And I bet this tour then had to be pretty exciting for you tonight. What was your favorite part?
Oh, I think my favorite part was meeting Len and JD up in the booth, and then we went out to see how it all came together in the production trailer. And so many people do some awesome work, and it's fun because then I get to watch the games all the way back in Moline, Illinois.
That's right, and a lot of that stuff going on behind the scenes. I know you learned something that you want to do here for the guys in the booth. Is that right?
I do. I want to send it back to Len and JD.
Way to go, Jim.
All right,
Go
Jim.
Cubs.
Thank you. Bunted by Baez. Miley's throw is just in time. A little double clutch by the left-hander, but he got him.
Well, given what happened last week in Milwaukee with the Baez-inducing errors, it looked like Miley might launch this one. A little stumble, but he did finally able to make an accurate throw to first base to get Baez. A little bobble, regrip, sling, and they got him by half a step.
Here's Zobrist. Infield hit in the first. Really enjoyed meeting Jim and his daughter Amy, and Jim, he was so excited to be here. A lifelong Cub fan, and said he traded all of his baseball cards when he was a kid, the non-Cubs, to get the Cubs.
Yeah, he'd give up a superstar to get a Cub bench player.
The 0-1 to Ben. There's a strike.
Well, Miley looking this game much like he did in Milwaukee. A lot of balls on the ground. Up tempo.
Been a weird season for him. He signed a minor league deal in February. He was on the verge of making their opening day roster. But then he got hurt. A groin injury late in spring training. Zobrist 2 for 2.
He's a hit machine.
Miley rehab in the minor leagues. Came up, made 2 starts in early May, then missed 2 months with an oblique issue. Has not allowed more than 3 earned runs in any of his 12 starts this season with Milwaukee.
Yeah, last year with Baltimore, he was 8-15 with a 5.61 ERA. He made 32 starts with the Birds. He was healthy last year, but not particularly effective. He led the league in walks. He's cut way down on his walk rate. That's been a big part of his success. Lifetime 69-76 with a 4.26 ERA. Had some nice years with the Diamondbacks, the Red Sox, a Mariner, Oriole, as I mentioned, and now a Brewer.
From Oranger, Louisiana. Albert gets a long look at Brian Butterfield, the third base coach. And Kratz looks into his dugout.
Yeah, you like to play a little hit and run against him with all the ground balls.
Second bunt attempt of the inning. This one is hit foul.
It's another good ploy, trying to stay out of the double play, try to push a bunt somewhere, not for a sacrifice, but for a base hit.
Pace of play has been top of mind around baseball the last few years, and it's certainly a worthy conversation. But when you think about what goes on between pitches in a big league game, it's not nothing. Bounce to third. Moustakas will get 1, relay 2. 5-4-3 on the twin killing, and that'll get the Brewers back in their dugout. And John Lester back to work, trailing 2-1. 1:20 p.m. up to the first 10,000 early arriving fans receive an Albert Almora bobblehead presented by Xfinity. For details, visit Cubs.com. Kathleen Carlson from St. Xavier University throwing out a ceremonial first pitch tonight. Caught by Cubs catcher Taylor Davis.
She's a crafty left-hander. Bit of a soft tosser.
Strike to Kane, who's 2 for 2. I mentioned it before, the 5-4-3 double play, especially with runners on base. Looks like everyone's just standing around between pitches. But you've got the catcher looking into the dugout to get signs. The batter steps out, looks at third base. There's a runner at first. The first base coach is usually in that guy's ear. It might be a left fielder who grabs his cheat sheet out of his back pocket. And the outfield instructors in the dugout doing things looking like he's on a runway directing traffic. Grouper for a base hit. Everything he hits falls in. He's 3 for 3.
Joe Madden said that Don Zimmer told him early in his managerial career, make sure you check your players before every pitch. Your team's in the field. Just know where everybody's at. Make sure they're in the right places, and also that's if they're not in the right places and something goes down, you can refer to it later and say, why were you there? Here's where you should have been. Or if you're going to be playing here, you need to be a step to the lane, whatever it is. But that was a great piece of advice that Joe got from Zim. Always know where all your guys are.
Kane now with his 13th 3-hit performance this year. Has a good lead at first. The pitch to Yelich. They'll try to turn it here. Murphy, Russell, and that's all they'll get. Ball wasn't hit that hard. Murphy didn't really play it aggressively, and Yelich runs well. So the ingredients were not really there for 2.
Yeah, Daniel laid back, and then Addison had a hard time getting the ball cleanly into his throwing hand as well.
We'll bring up Aguilar.
Yelich a threat to run. He's stolen 17 bases this year in 20 tries. One of the reasons why he's one of the top MVP candidates is just the all-around game for Yelich. On base, slugging, defense, speed.
Ball, no strikes. I think now more than ever, you've got to keep an eye on your players and your teammates and let them know how many outs there are because of that pace of play question, right? You say you have some half innings that are 25, 30 minutes with pitching changes.
Yeah,
all of a sudden the ball's hit. You're going, are there 2 outs?
Yeah,
how many outs are there?
It's easy to forget how many outs there are. Constantly checking or reminding each other.
To a dangerous hitter, and it's a strike. Similar spot, didn't get the call that time. 3-1. Go foul past Ed Cedar, Brewers third base coach. Officially for Lester, It's his first start in a week and a day. But he did take the ball very briefly on Friday night, pitched an inning, and the game was canceled.
Good try. And take a look at our pitch cast there. Everything was down, down, down. So he shoots one up, let her high, almost got the swing and miss. Usually he's going to flood the bottom of the zone with cutters, sinkers, changeups, and curveballs, but every now and then an elevated four-seamer.
We'll get another try here. Baez feeds Murphy, and they will turn it. Both teams hitting into an inning-ending 5-4-3. The last two half innings. Luke, thank you. 2-1 ball game. Brewers scored a run in the first and the second. The Cubs got one in the opening inning, and curveball misses to Contreras.
Seen more teams start to play the shift for Contreras. A lot of pull on the ground, especially since the All-Star break, and you see how they're deploying their infielders.
1-1.
Just a $130 on the road trip, 3 out of 23, 214 since the break.
He's sitting on 9 home runs on the season.
2 strikes. Scope moves back over to the right side of second base.
Ground ball, base hit.
Should have stayed put.
Contreras is going to try for 2. Safe, a hustle double.
The way to play the game. First Baez putting pressure on Kane in Milwaukee, and now Contreras. Looks like a routine single. No such thing as routine when you sell out of the box. Such a plus to have a catcher. Those kinds of wheels.
See if John will bunt here early. Second, a runner at second, nobody out, and takes ball 1. 1-1.
50-50.
Yep.
Two real close ones equals one strike. The advantage of having a guy with speed in front of the pitcher is it take a great bunt to move him along, and Lester's a really good bunter. If they decide to try that option.
Tying run at second base. Nobody out. 2-1 on Lester. The pitch. And a miss. Russell waits on deck. Full count. Everything down in this sequence.
Outfielders are very shallow.
Driven to center. Kane makes a great running catch, and he'll just fling it back into the infield. What a drive by Lester. Instead of a sac bunt, he'll get an 0 for 1, but I'm sure that felt a lot better. And what a catch by Lorenzo Kane.
Yeah, but I just mean, because they were tight, and you can understand why with a man in scoring position, the opposing pitcher up there. But we've seen Lester drive some balls to the wall. We've seen him leave the ballpark. Kane got a great break on this ball. Otherwise, it's an extra base hit for Lester. A productive out as Contreras now stands on third base.
Gotta figure they'll bring their infielders in, and that is the case. And that's a good job by Kane to not only get it back in quickly, but a fairly accurate throw. Thinking Contreras might consider going second to home. So the infield in. Russell takes low.
And normally you would think one out in this situation, contact play for Contreras, but Daniel Murphy on deck, maybe not. Little infielders are not all the way in, they're about halfway.
Backdoor curveball. Cederstrom gave it to him. 2-1. Chacin and Quintana tomorrow. Anderson and Hendricks Wednesday. Every game means 2 in the standings. Cubs will be up either 3 games or 1 game after this one tonight. The Verizon projected starters. 3-1 serve. Russell missed it. It's 3-2.
Had a pitch. 3-1 fastball right through the middle of the zone. It's a little late getting that foot down.
He's 3-2. Walked him. That will bring up Murphy. Second walk issued by Miley tonight.
Last time the Brewers were this close to the Cubs, August 14th, when they won game 1 of the series here to pull within 2. Cubs won the next day.
Brewers dropped 6 off the pace on August 28th. And since then, won 9 of their last 11.
As recently as September 2nd, they were 5 games back. So yeah, that's like the objects in the rearview mirror starting to look closer and closer. You will be thinking left center here.
Well, the Brewers got a break. I think that ball hit Gary Cederstrom's foot. And if that's the case, he just saved a run inadvertently. Let's see. Hit somebody's foot. Yep.
Yeah.
Hit them both.
Oh, thank you. Like you picked a 7-10 split there.
That's a tough break for the Cubs. If that ball gets by, Contreras likely scores to tie the game.
I seem to recall a couple of balls getting through cracks in the series in Milwaukee. He should have been able to block.
Down by the catcher. 2-0. Bryant on deck.
I think Craig Counsell would manage these games with a real sense of urgency. He's got 14 bullpen arms available. 3 lefties, 11 from the right side. Now a couple are down. Knebel probably wouldn't pitch today. Soria probably down. You get the idea. All kinds of options out there. Miley wants no part of Daniel Murphy.
Bases loaded for Bryant. Back-to-back walks.
Yeah, working out of the zone, that's going to work against some, but rarely against a guy like Murphy. Really competitive pitches throughout that sequence. Now he's got to face KB with the bases loaded.
Three on with 1 out. 2-1 Milwaukee. Cubs with a big-time threat. Here we go.
Well, for keeping a scorecard at home, this would be a time to put a little mark in the box because this is a big, big moment in this ball game.
6 consecutive misses for Miley. Braun has it. His throw will be cut off by Moustakas, and we're tied at 2. Both runs coming in for the Cubs tonight on outs. The Rizzo ground out in the first, the Bryant sac fly here in the 5th. It's 2-2.
Well, good work by Bryant. He got a breaking pitch up in the zone, lofts it into left. Contreras tags and scores, and they cash in that lead hustle double.
So what's left on the bases is Russell at second, Murphy at first. And 2 down.
Two productive outs in this inning. The drive to center got Contreras to third base, and then Bryant gets him home with the fly ball to left.
Cutter well located to Rizzo. Cardinals have tied the Pirates 4-4. They'll now play the 5th. Here it's 2-2 and a bouncer, long move over Scope, the spin, the throw, he got him. That's a tough play for Scope. Had to range wide to his glove side in right field to make the play. Cubs tie it, it's 2-2.
One question, because I heard both of you bring it up last night on the show, talking about all night. Before the game, Stefan Exaitis sang the national anthem. He's a Special Olympic athlete in tennis, and he sent a video message to Tom Ricketts before the season began asking if he could sing the anthem if he raised $5,000 for the Special Olympics. And in his GoFundMe page, he raised over $18,000 that the Cubs charities will match. And guys, there was not a dry eye in the house as Stefan nailed this anthem, and he did it with such conviction. And there, a special meeting with Joe Madden, also got to meet Anthony Rizzo before the game. What a night for Stefan, and it was just a pleasure to listen to him, wasn't it?
He's got a great voice. Did a wonderful job with the anthem.
Yeah, apologies to Wayne and Big John and Michael and all the other anthem singers, but that was the gold medal performance there tonight.
Raised a ton of money. Really got this crowd electrified. 0-2 on Ryan Braun, 6th inning, and a 2-2 deadlock. John gave up those 2 early runs and has been really good since. Sharply hit. Bouncer, Baez leaves his feet. The throw to Rizzo in time.
Such a big arm, and he makes that play look easy. Pretty well hit by Braun. No panic. Gets to his feet, steams that throw across the diamond. That would have been the 5th time in the first 6 innings that the leadoff man reached had that ball eluded Baez.
Scope, who made a nice defensive play to get Rizzo. Ball 1. Wind has died down. It has out above the scoreboard in center. It was blowing in off the lake at 5 miles an hour at first pitch.
Yeah, not much going on at all out there right now. Nice night to play, beautiful night to pitch. Brewers were very aggressive early, and they had success early, but pitch count in good shape though for Lester because of that.
Big series starting tonight in Denver, the Diamondbacks and the Rockies. Rockies leading the West by a half game over the Dodgers, 2.5 up on the Diamondbacks. Swing and a miss on a changeup, 1-2. And Arizona leads that game 1-0 in the fourth.
Rockies in first place, 14 games above 500 despite a -11 run differential.
Stoke fouled it off his foot. And the Phillies rained out, hosting the Nationals. Phillies haven't won a series in their last 10. They're 4.5 behind the Braves, who are in San Francisco tonight.
Biggest lead Braves have had all year.
It's a Newcomb-Rodriguez matchup down in San Francisco. It's the outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Hey, he struck him out. Check out the variety of luxury premier options Wrigley Field has to offer, like the Dell EMC Legends Suite, which includes an all-inclusive suite experience, and best of all, a visit from former Cubs players. Suites are available for both the Reds and Cardinals weekend sets. It's Cubs.com/premier for details. And a visit from Nick Frangella and Joe Madden. So what did they see?
I don't know. Let's see if we can see what they saw after the strikeout of Scope. Oh, right there, something tugged. Maybe just a cramp. Let's hope. John has let everybody know he's okay. They're leaving the field. Stakis hangs in pretty well against left-handed pitching. He's doubled and walked so far tonight.
Cracked his bat on the flare into center. So he's been on 3 times. That's 0 for 2. Hoo-ha! Strike called. Sounds like that's what Gary Cedarstrom said.
Hoo-ha!
Hoo-ha! Golfed to left and out of play.
Kratz played his college ball at Eastern Mennonite University in Harrisonburg, Virginia. From Lansdale, PA. There's hard-throwing rookie Corbin Burns.
Base hit to right. Zobrist Picking it up, and he fell down, and Moustakas is going to try to score. They've got a shot at him now. Moustakas hits the brakes, and he made the right call. So second and third, a double for Kratz, and the Cubs fortunate that the Brewers didn't get the lead run, and Moustakas probably made the right call to not try to score.
Yeah, trying to trap this ball along the boards. That was quite an effort to haul that thing in. I didn't see that first time around. Moustakas, big turn at third base before dropping anchor. And again, trainers coming out. This is not a good sign. Done. I'm wondering now, maybe a little hammy or groin. If something was tugging.
Well, hopefully that's nothing serious as he walks off with P.J. Mainville. We'll have a pitching change. 2-2, sixth inning.
Turned monsters of the mound, will you? Matt Forte throwing out the first pitch here, and I had a chance to catch up with these two and ask them what it's going to take for the Bears to have that killer mentality similar to what the Cubs now have.
You just said it. You expect to win. You can't go out there like, I hope we stay competitive. I hope that we score on this drive. I hope that we make plays. You got to go out there and make plays. Like when we were playing, like I wasn't going out there like, man, I hope this happens, or I hope I have a good game. I wasn't hoping for things. I'm going out there, I'm making it happen. And so you can't, that comes from experience and yeah, say what you want, young team, this and that. They got to turn the corner. Yep.
You don't want to look up and hope that you run out of time before they score enough points or score points to beat you. You know, you have to, like you said, you have to want to be out there. You know, whenever our opportunity was to go out, I wanted to go out because I knew I wanted to get a sack. I wanted to get the next, take the ball away. I wanted to score a touchdown. I wanted to help my teammates in some way, shape, or fashion. But I was looking to make some sort of play.
Those guys a riot on the football after show after every Bears game. Just turned to NBC Sports Chicago in a big scenario here, guys, as C.J. Edwards takes over in the sixth.
All right, Kelly, thank you. And it is the BioFreeze call to the pen. Official external pain relief of the Chicago Cubs. And Carl Edwards Jr. will try to get this final out here. Runners at second and third. John Lester had to walk off with the Cubs athletic trainer. So we'll wait for the word from the clubhouse and why he had to exit.
A big moment. A series that figures to feature many big moments between now and the end of play on Wednesday. Base open, pitcher spot next, but Curtis Granderson out on deck for Miley.
Pitch gets by. Moustakas scores, and Well, you know, Cubs are fortunate that ball didn't hit Moustakas.
Yeah,
I don't know how it didn't.
Yeah, the errant pitch, and then Carl late to break to cover home plate. And you don't ever want to be tardy covering home because with Contreras' athleticism, the way this ball can kick back off the wall there, you might have had a shot at him.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't even see that Carl was that late. But as that throw came through, it almost hit Moustakas, and it might have cost them another run. That one missed badly. 2-0. It's now 3-2 Milwaukee.
I'm just wondering if he took all the time he needed to take to get comfortable out there. He had all he wanted, but sometimes when pitchers warming up in the game mound in that situation, they get a little unnerved and they go sooner than they should. He's clearly out of sorts, and it's been a rough go for him of late. And starting to hear the bluebirds here at Wrigley Field.
And ball 4. Now Curtis Granderson announced as the pinch hitter for Miley. Brewers lead this game for the 3rd time. And Jesse Chavez is not taking much time. He is cranking it up. Jim Hickey to the mound.
Yeah, that phone call from the bullpen, it wasn't, hey, let's get Jesse up just in case. That was, let's get Jesse up and get him going in a hurry. Two outs, nobody on when it started. Appeared to be a harmless single from Moustakas. Kratz with a little block double to right. And again, what a play by Zobrist to scramble after that ball, because had he not snagged it, Moustakas would have already scored prior to the wild pitch. Kratz probably would have made the 3rd on that ball into the corner.
Pitch to Granderson. There's a fastball bottom of the zone for a strike. Thornton Fractional South High School and University of Illinois Chicago alum. Strike 2. Another guy with a lot of postseason experience. Garcia just took off for a second, and he'll get there without any sort of throw. It's his 6th stolen base.
Pitch.
Yeah.
Gary Cedarstrom was guessing ball there on 0-2. That wasn't even fringy. That was all over home plate.
He went, and Granderson strikes out. Contreras will get it to Rizzo. Brewers get the lead again on a wild pitch. And this is after John Lester left due to an injury. 3-2 in the 6th. AA honors those who have served and all of our service members at home and abroad. Thank you for all you do. Cubs are down 3-2. They will bat in the 6th. It'll be the Brewers bullpen the rest of the way. Same for the Cubs. And this pen got off to a really good start and struggled for a while, and here lately has been really good. Corey Knebel has reemerged. Might not be available tonight.
Yeah, I think Knebel and Soria probably both down. So Burns kind of becomes Knebel 2.0.
Baez leads it off. Cubs have trailed now on 3 different occasions. In the 1st, in the 2nd, tied it in the 5th, and then another run for the Brewers in the 6th.
Mostly fastball slider from Burns. He also has a curveball and once in a while a split finger pitch. Averages 95 miles per hour with the heater.
Down the line and foul by 6 or 7 feet.
Burns is 23 years of age, 6'3", 205, 4th round pick, 2016.
High fly the other way for Yelich. It will be Zobrist. 2 for 2, 2 runs for Ben. Still no word on John Lester, and we don't even want to contemplate him missing a start or 2, including tonight. 20 games left, so there aren't too many more turns through the rotation. I see a moves to his left, almost behind the bag at second, and it's 2-0 on Zobrist.
Now all the way over to the right side of the infield. Hitters count, more likely to pull the ball.
Now 2-1.
Ben pulls the ball as much as anybody on this club.
Charged by Scope. He's had a good night over there at second. And 2 down. You just pointed out on Twitter, now I remember this, the Reds swept the Dodgers in LA in a 4-gamer earlier this year, right? So they lead 10-6 in the 9th. I believe that game now has gone final. It has. So the Reds are 5-0 against the Dodgers this season. That hurts if you're the Dodgers, because I think, you know, at the end of the year, if a team misses the playoffs by 1 or 2, you often look back to the head-to-heads against the teams you're competing with, but often it's that record against the teams you should beat. I asked Craig Counsell today if he likes the unbalanced schedule, and he gave a quick answer. He said, "What I like is that we have a chance to play the team we're chasing." He said this year it's the Cubs, but he said whether it's, you know, 19 games or whatever, he said I like the idea that if we're behind somebody, we generally will get a chance in late September to face them head on. I think that's a fair comment.
Yeah, I do. I agree with that sentiment, and I think it's important that teams play a lot of games within their division in the final month of the season.
The Corona wild card standings. Cardinals now down 6-4 in the 6th against the Pirates. And a lot of teams still in the mix. Including this series, the Cubs will host every team from the Central here over the final 3 weeks. Off the foot of Burns, it'll kick into shallow right, and Almora has a 2-out single.
Eric Kratz wanted to be able to go out and check on his pitcher without it counting as a mound visit. I'm guessing that's what the conversation with Gary Cederstrom was all about. And you see Gary waving it off, saying no meeting.
Big swing by Contreras.
Project Burns as a guy who will ultimately end up in their rotation, maybe as early as next year. Got a plus arm, a good mix of pitches. As a starter in his minor league career, albeit a brief one, as I mentioned, he signed in 2016 and not played above AA ball prior to this year. Have great numbers this year at AAA. Had a 5.15 ERA, but he struck out better than a batter per inning. So the stuff is good. Exclusively out of the bullpen since joining the big club, and it is looked pretty darn good.
Contreras turned away, and that pitch just inside to make it 1-2. One time they had Mike Fiers on their staff. Could have had Fiers and Burns.
Oh man, opportunity missed.
They could do a winter roast.
They traded for Justin Smoke.
Williams, the right-hander, Xavier Cedeno, the lefty.
Traded for
Not
Cedeno
Taylor
not long ago, and Williams just recently recalled. Trevor Williams of the Pirates.
Pirates, yes.
Tonight, yeah.
T. Williams. Taylor. A kick and a 1-2. Well, 2-2. And it's fouled right at the plate.
So Schwarber for Edwards if the inning continues, and then we would see Cedeno for Schwarber, you would have to believe.
A 3-2 ball game in the 6th. Short lead by Almora. Here comes the pitch. And again, it's Scope. High throw, Aguilar on the bag. Scope has had a very busy night out there in the grass in right. And we go to the 7th inning. It's 3-2 Milwaukee. The Cubs host the Pirates and will celebrate Hispanic Heritage Night here at Wrigley Field. All participants who purchase tickets through the Community Nights page receive a Los Cubs t-shirt. For more info and to purchase tickets, visit Cubs.com/communitynights. Kyle Freeze call to the pen. Jesse Chavez. Cubs trail by a run.
So his mission apparent. The Brewers right where they are. He's been very efficient, very good at doing that since joining the Cubs, having a good year overall. An easy assignment though. This top of the Brewers lineup as good as it gets in baseball, with Kane and Yelich setting the tone.
Kane with another base hit. He is 4 for 4 tonight. And they're saying John Lester left with lower back tightness. Hopefully that does not linger. That is never fun. That's what it looked like he was dealing with, but never want to speculate until you find out officially. Four times Kane has had 4 hits in a game this season. High to Yelich. These two guys were acquired in the offseason. Yelich via trade, Kane via free agency, and they both been huge parts of this team. Way up in the air center field. One down here in the Milwaukee 7th. Matt Forte, Lance Briggs. You'll find them on the Football After Show following Bears games on NBC Sports Chicago. They will sing the stretch tonight. Here's Aguilar. You know, I'm thinking about what sorts of injuries could baseball players work through. Low back tightness is probably the one thing nobody can work through, right? I mean, you can't do anything. Can't hit, can't throw.
Yeah, you just have to
that's
get treatment, and you know, I mean, you can do some exercises and things of that nature, but you can't do baseball things.
Right. The core, man, obliques, rib cage strains, back. Those are impossible to power your way through in a ball game. And there's Josh Hader, the fireballing left-hander. 1-1 from Jesse is pop foul and out of play.
Chavez has made 23 appearances for the Cubs, has a 1.61 ERA, 28 innings, 33 strikeouts against just 3 walks.
Chavez would love to dial up a double play ball here. Aguilar fouls up onto the roof. Back of home plate. 38,471 the paid crowd here at Wrigley tonight.
Chavez leans heavily on fastball cutter, and the cutter is kind of a little baby cutter. Doesn't have a lot of movement, just a little late action. Throws it pretty hard. More of a fly ball type pitcher than a ground ball pitcher. Two-seamer has run, as you see there, but not a lot of sink. But if you get that ball in on the hands of a right-handed hitter, especially a guy who's looking to get out in front of one, that's where you can get that ground ball to the left side of the infield. Kane's probably moving here, right?
You would guess. There he goes. And another foul.
Come on back, Lorenzo.
Looks to be stretching out his left leg. It's the other thing I was chatting with Craig Counsell about. You can't recover from minor injuries during a baseball season. Guy gets hit by a pitch. A bad contusion on your left knee. This is something that's going to bother you for a month or so. They will turn it. 6-3 double play. 7th inning stretch. Brought to you by St. Xavier University.
Tonight's guest conductors for Take Me Out to the Ball Game, former Chicago Bears Matt Forte and Lance Briggs.
What's up, Chicago?
Here we go, Cubbies.
What's up, Bears fans? You ready, Gary?
You ready, Matt?
A 1, a 2, a 3. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I ever come back from this root for the Cubbies. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2,
Pinch hit for Chavez, and that will mean Josh Hader when we come back. 3-2 Milwaukee.
Tonight here on NBC Sports Chicago, and with this Miller Lite game report, passing out the cheer cards all night, which we know people are going to use as the Cubs and Brewers duke it out, and we showcase some artwork here by Amaz of Art, and you guys can see all the Cubs authentic fans riding the red line to Wrigley, getting excited for this big 3-game series between these two teams, and we appreciate all season long you sending us your pictures and tweeting out on Cubs Authentic Fan Night. It's been an awesome season.
Kelly, thanks. Yeah, we enjoyed it very much, and met a lot of wonderful Cub fans along the way. As David Bodie now for Schwarber. Biofreeze called to the pen. It's Josh Hader. So Schwarber burned. The Cubs have a big bench there in September. 0-1 is a strike. 0-2.
Hader has been quite a weapon. He was an all-star this year, but he has struggled to a degree over the last 10 appearances or so. He's had some rough ones. Anthony Rizzo got him for a home run in Milwaukee.
And he strikes out Bodie swinging.
It's the first home run he has allowed to a left-handed batter in his big league career.
First appearance since Friday. His 2 games this month, including that appearance you mentioned against the Cubs, he's gone at least 2 innings. Also looks at a strike. It's on you quickly.
Yeah, it's explosive stuff, quick arm action, hides the ball well. Tough angle. I mean, he's got a whole lot going for him out there. From the hitter's point of view, you know, you got to sit on that heater. He throws it almost 80% of the time. He does mix in an occasional slider.
Another 0-2 pitch, way outside that time. Murphy on deck.
But he's a good antidote to the launch angle revolution. Guys that are trying to get that low ball in the air with the uppercut swing. 97 elevated is a big weapon.
The other reason Joe can use two guys in one spot, Schwarber then Bodie, is once you get past Russell, you're back to the top, and you're not likely to pinch hit until you get down to probably Almora in a matchup spot. And for maybe a Tommy La Stella against a right-hander like Jeffress as Russell strikes out.
Yeah, the guy you're not going to burn is La Stella. I mean, he's the guy you're going to have him pitch it. When you call his number, that's the at bat you want to make sure you get. I mean, it sounds kind of counterintuitive. What do you mean, Schwarber? He's the big slugger. You got to make sure you don't burn Kyle. Well, Kyle hasn't hit a home run off a left-handed pitcher this year, and that's not his game, pinch hitting. That's La Stella's bailiwick.
Ooh, good word. With an 0-1 pitch to Murphy. Swing and a miss on 97.
This is pretty fresh tonight. He was throwing pretty hard in the series in Milwaukee, but it wasn't this good.
Rockies just put up 6 runs in the 5th, leading the Diamondbacks 6-1. Trevor Story with another home run. His 32nd. One and two. Murphy battling here with 2 strikes. And Hader strikes out Bodie, Russell, and Murphy all swinging. 3-2 Brewers after 7.
Watch every out-of-market regular season game. Plus, get a free subscription to MLB At Bat Premium. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv to take advantage of this special offer. Steve Cishek is the new hurler for the Cubs. He's been their most often used bullpen guy. 70th time now for Steve. 4-3 with a 2.26 ERA. That's been on the rise here of late. Trend he would obviously love to reverse. So runs in 4 of his last 7 appearances, including a 2 spot given up to the Nationals the other night.
Braun Scope and Moustakas for the Brewers here in the 8th. Keep them close. 1 ball, no strikes to Braun. 93. Confirmed from Steve tonight. The Indians' magic number for a postseason berth is 5 going into tonight. And they've got a 5-4 lead in the 9th. Tampa Bay. Charged by Russell.
Nice clinic. The clinic put on there by Addy. The way he got around that ball, stayed low, kept the glove on the ground.
I see Josh Donaldson expected to be in their lineup tomorrow. And they get Andrew Miller back. I think they were supposed to tonight.
Yeah, I read that he was being activated.
Three DL stints for Miller this season: hamstring, knee, and shoulder.
No sense of urgency for Cleveland. Plenty of time to wait to get him back. Make sure they have enough time to kind of get him into the flow of the season before the postseason. That's the advantage they've had pretty much since the 4th of July, if not sooner. It was pretty much a given that they were going to win that division. 15.5 games better than the second-place Twins.
He worked a scoreless inning with 2 strikeouts tonight. Corey Kluber got pulled in the 2nd. He gave up 4 runs. But the Indians able to come back in the middle innings. It's a tough Rays club. And 16 of 19 starting play tonight. 3-1 on Jonathan Scope. Strike 2.
The Rays just have a geography problem. If they're in the NL West, they'd be tied for first. American League East, they're 19 games back of the Red Sox.
Ball 4 gets by.
Stock is having a big night. Double walk single. He's scored twice.
And a strike.
Cishek doesn't waste much time between pitches. Chavez with the same up-tempo approach. Not the case with a lot of relievers.
Swing and a miss. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Moustakas. 2 hits, a walk, 2 runs. Baez moves over to the right side of the infield. Moustakas gets under, 1 to right, and it's Ben Zobrist.
go-ahead run came home on a wild pitch. That was back in the 6th.
The run was charged to Lester. The pitch was thrown at Carl Edwards. John left with low back tightness after 5 2/3. Cechek's 1-0 to Kratz. There's a strike. Cubs have Bryant, Rizzo, and Baez in the bottom of the 8th. The pitcher currently is Josh Hader. His spot is due up after Arcia, who's on deck.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised that the Brewers aren't, again, with all the bench. Thane, Shaw on the bench.
He's got Knebel up. I wasn't sure Knebel would be available tonight.
I was assuming he would not be.
So he might be thinking Knebel 8th, and then he's got Hader again tomorrow. Outside for a ball.
Which is kind of what we thought he might do with Hader over at their place, but he didn't. He used him for multiple innings. He was into his 3rd inning when he finally gave it up. But I thought they might be a little more aggressive here off the bench to pinch hit. Maybe even pinch run for Scope, pinch hit for Kratz to try to pad the lead.
That ball will get down for a hit. It'll send Scope around toward 3rd, and he will make it as the throw is cut short by Russell. Eric Kratz has 2 hits tonight.
Yeah, so I guess why hit for Kratz if he's going to swing the bat like that? That kind of looked like the double he kind of short stroked to right last time he was up.
And now with Arcia coming up, Travis Shaw will step into the on deck circle for Hader. Go ahead single in the 2nd. A walk and a steal in the 6th for Arcia. He's in his 3rd stint with the big league club this season. A couple of times sent down due to offensive struggles.
Yeah, the walk in the 6th, pretty rare because he was usually hacking.
I think the narrative around this Brewer club, because of some guys having to play out of position when they made the acquisitions, Moustakas, Scope, Shaw had to play a little second, Scope plays some short, that they had struggled, but they've actually been a pretty good. Look at some of the other defensive stats, not just errors. They've been a good defensive club, and one of the reasons is Craig Counsell has kind of stuck with Arcia at short because he likes his defense, even though he hasn't hit much.
But if you got enough firepower in your lineup, you can carry a light hitting middle infielder and hit him 8th and just say, hey, whatever you give us offensively is gravy. I mean, they expect, I think, as he develops, that the bat will come along and he'll be a pretty good offensive player. And the bat has not caught up to the glove yet. Dunson Kinsler throw for the Cubs.
Kane and Yelich plus outfielders. And Ryan Braun, a pretty good left fielder. Even though he hasn't played every day out there. So two and one on Arcia. With 2 outs in the 8th. Took a strike, 2-2.
That slider about 6 inches off the outside corner.
Yeah, and he flailed at it, even though it was over the outside corner. And the Brewers strand a couple. Big escape for Cechek. And we go to the last of the 8. Still a 1-run ball game. start the bottom of the 8th. He struck out the side in the 7th. And 13 pitches. Bryant a double, a ground out, a sac fly, and a run. Playing left field tonight.
Hader kind of like a Billy Wagner with long hair.
Although when Wagner threw upper 90s, he was a comet, right? I mean, there was nobody, especially left-handed, who threw that hard when he pitched. And he would have fit right in this era for sure.
Yeah, I think Wags would maybe touch 100 on occasion. Get the barrel out in front of one.
1-2 on the way, struck him out.
Starting to think Knable up in the bullpen was just a deep.
Let's go back to last Monday. Second time that Rizzo faced Hader in that game. Dramatic go-ahead home run. Made it 3-2. The Brewers tied it in the 8th and then won it with a run in the 9th.
Yeah, home run came with a man on base, and I thought Anthony might go into choke up mode, try to hit a line drive single somewhere, and he just stayed down on the knob and sold out and delivered the long ball.
One and two. Shift pull on the infield. Way around toward left in the outfield. Yelich well off the line and right. Swing and a miss. Hader wins this particular matchup. He has struck out all 5. All swinging strikeouts. And here's Baez. They can shift all they want. It hasn't mattered since he came into the game.
It's like facing Eddie Feiner right now, the king in his court. A couple guys behind him, and it's not going to change the outcome. He's got to find a way to put this guy in play.
However, it's still a one-swing ball game as Baez just tried to hit one onto Waveland. Matt Adams has just hit a dramatic 3-run homer, and the Cardinals lead the Pirates late 7-6. Bottom of the 8th.
Hader has struck out 46% of the batters he has faced this year, second best in baseball, just behind Edwin Diaz of the Mariners. Just fractions of a percentage.
He struck him out looking. He struck out the side twice, and we go to the 9th. 3-2 Brewers.
fandom with us all season long. That's a wrap on Authentic Fan Nights at Wrigley Field, but keep using the hashtag #AuthenticFan throughout the remainder of the season, and you may be authentically surprised.
Justin Wilson will take over in the 9th. They've been pitching really well until giving up the home run to Bryce Harper on Saturday night. Domingo Santana off the bench. First pitch swinging, and he's got a base hit.
That's the bad news. The good news, he hit for Hader, so he is done.
Right. Kane has batted 4 times and has singled all 4. Average has gone up from 306 to 312. 6 points doesn't sound like a lot, but when we sit here on September 10th, that's a pretty big push.
Yeah, hard to get that kind of a bounce this time of the year. 3 of those times leading off an inning. The Brewers have had the leadoff man reach 6 times tonight. And now I'll hit the Cubs 11-5.
G-Man Choi with a game-ending home run off Brad Hand, 2-run shot, and the Rays with a dramatic win, 6-5 over the Indians. It does not really hurt the Indians much, and another big win for the Rays. Kane fouls. Jeffress getting ready for the bottom of the 9th.
Cardinals with 3 in the 8th have overtaken the Pirates. It's 7-6 now in St. Louis.
Speaking of the Indians, yesterday Jose Ramirez became the 39th player to have a 30-30 season. That's 30 homers, 30 steals. The 3rd Cleveland Indian to do it, Joe Carter in '87, Grady Sizemore in 2008. The 4th third baseman to do it. Care to take a guess at the other 3?
30-30 third sackers.
Yes.
A-Rod?
Nope. I would say all 3 are from different eras. That's the first thing I would say.
Come up with 30 steals.
One did it with Milwaukee. Very early in their team's existence. One did it. 2 did it as a Met.
Howard Johnson.
Yes.
Ricardo Alfonso.
Ooh.
David Wright.
Yep. Think of an early 70s Milwaukee Brewer.
Sixto Lexicano.
So they're going to get Kane. Zobrist. Nope. Almora. At the last second. Tommy Harper.
Tommy Harper
was the first to do it.
I don't know if I knew Tommy Harper was a third baseman. For some reason I had him as an outfielder.
He played all around. '70, his lone All-Star season. 31 homers and 38 steals. And that was the first year of the Brewers after they moved from Seattle. One other 30-30 note. Previous to Ramirez this year, the last two guys to do it did it in 2012. I'll let you take a shot at that. 2012, two guys had 30-30
30 guys in 2012. 6 years ago. Still active?
Both are active. One is here.
Here is in the ballpark.
Yeah. Inside to Yelich, 3-0.
Braun?
Ryan Braun. And probably the best player in the game right now.
Mike Trout?
Mike Trout. Yeah, they both did it in 2012. Now you know.
When did Trout break into the league?
The year before. With only 40 games. 2012 was his first full season.
He's one of those
homers,
guys that
49 steals.
Pretty much had it figured out from day one.
He did, yeah.
He didn't have to grow into the job.
See if Wilson can come back here against Yelich. 3-2.
Lively four-seamer right at the knees.
Throw over to first.
Yeah, 3-2-1 out. You think probably a ghost situation for Santana. Wilson's not a big ground ball pitcher. Yelich is a guy who hits it on the ground a lot, but less likely to do so against the offerings of Wilson. Counsel, you might be a little more concerned about the swing and miss than the ground ball here.
Somebody must have had it and then dropped it. That's generally the reaction, and I think we found the culprit.
Pretty good guess.
The agony of defeat.
Brought the glove and everything.
Drowning his sorrows. Santana, the runner at first. Another 3-2 is high to Yelich. And it brings up Aguilar, who has already hit into 2 double plays. Joe's coming out. And you might want the ground ball specialist Kinsler. We'll be back. 3-2 Milwaukee. Brandon Kinsler coming in to face Jesus Aguilar here in the 9th inning. Last year, if this were the case, Craig Counsell probably would have used Eric Thames as he and Aguilar shared time at first, but not this season. It has become Aguilar's job over there. And the reason is he's got 31 home runs and a .906 OPS going into play tonight.
Yeah, and certainly if Counsell didn't like this matchup, he could have pulled the trigger with Thames, maybe even used Shaw. Brandon has had a tough go of it since joining the Cubs. 17 games and a 7.43 earned run average.
Santana is at second. Yelich now at first.
It's a little bit of a dicey situation with the Cubs bullpen these days, with Edwards having his struggles. Cishek hasn't been quite as sharp as he has been for most of the year. He's good here tonight. Kinsler hasn't really hit his stride in a Cub uniform.
Well, that pitch looked good. I don't know if it was the way it was caught, and I couldn't get a strike out of it. 1-0 on Aguilar.
Yeah, that was a real good pitch. Came off the bag.
He's out. They got him at second base. So apparently slid into Murphy's foot.
I believe so. Counsell's going to come out and get an explanation from Corey Blazer. You see Daniel foot down as he's catching that ball, and Santana never gets to the bag.
A huge second out.
Gary Cedarstrom's going to follow Craig over to the dugout as he waits word to whether to challenge or not. I think Counsell probably figures it's worth a shot.
First off, Murphy's fortunate he didn't get spiked. Secondly, as a former middle infielder, Craig Counsell knows that's a smart play by Murphy, and he will challenge it. There's no reason not to in the 9th inning. And the call should be confirmed, right? I don't think he ever touched second base.
I don't believe so, no. Shouldn't take long.
So 2 down.
Second base runner, the Brewers have lost on the bases tonight.
So Yelich still at first, but 2 outs and a strike to Aguilar. 1-1. Be sitting at home wondering, well, if you just block the bag, a runner could never get there. Well, if you go way, 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 way back in baseball history, there was a guy named Ty Cobb. I don't think too many infielders got in his way.
Sometimes you see those middle infielders drop their knee down right in front of the bag. I wondered if MLB would address that and make a rule that would make that illegal, kind of like they've done with the home plate collision rule.
Well, Ty used to reportedly go in spikes high, right?
Yeah, and that was
vicious base stealer. That was a different era, but
was, regardless of whether somebody was trying to block the bag or not.
2-1 on Aguilar. Here it comes. 3-1. Shooting for the moon on that swing. 3-2.
Zobrist, Almora, Contreras due in the bottom of the ninth.
Yelich goes on 3-2 and it's bounced foul. The other point I suppose to be made about the Santana pickoff is that might be a play where diving back head first is more beneficial because you've got
a little easier to work around the tag
with your hand to reach around the foot. To Milwaukee, top of the ninth. And another 3-2 to Aguilar. Bounced past Kinsler. Murphy throws to first, out there, and we go to the bottom of the ninth. Ben Zobrist will lead it off when we come back. Jeffress. These are all very important games. If the Cubs don't come back, their lead will drop to 1. The Cardinals just won their game, so they could be within 3.5. You see the numbers on the All-Star Jeffress.
Jeffress a little bit of an outlier, whereas most high leverage late inning guys are 2-pitch pitchers, fastball slider most commonly. Jeffress fastball, curve, changeup. He'll cut his fastball. He'll also sink it. And there's a fair number of curveballs and changeups to go along with that 95-mile-an-hour heater.
Yelich to left, Broxton in right, Shaw to first.
Yeah, Craig Counsell getting his hands team out there. That outfield, they got 3 guys that are all capable of being everyday center fielders in the big leagues.
Zobrist to start it. There's 389 on base average.
Great guy to have leading off the inning. Patience, power, scope. Plays in shallow right. Strong pull on the infield.
2-0. That's a strike, 97 on the fastball.
You don't want to be passive there. He's looking for something up about mid-thigh that he could drive, but it was a good runner down around the knees. So wait and hope for a better one.
Yelich in left. Out number 1 recorded. Brings up Almora. Slot in where everybody goes. Broxton will hit third if he does get an at bat. He slots into the Brewer batting order. Shaw fourth. Pitcher spot ninth.
You can just find a way to get a base runner here and get Terrence Gore out there and let him do his thing and steal a couple of bags for you.
Ball 1 to Almora. Yeah, he has proven to be a very intriguing weapon on the bases. Terrence Gore. Breaking ball, foul tip, 1-1. Hate to lose this game on a wild pitch. That's how the Brewers got their latest lead, allowing Moustakas to score in the 6th inning. Haven't had a base runner since Almora singled with 2 outs in the 6th.
Starters are the pitchers of record. Valley would win, Lester would lose.
Down the middle, fastball for strike 3 called, 2 outs.
obviously looking for something other than the heater there. Cubs struck out just once the first 6 innings of this ball game. 7 times they have struck out since the 6th. They've only put the ball in play once. Zobrist's fly ball to left.
Brewers shift to the left on the infield. And move Shaw to the right. That's it. And ball 1 on Wilson.
Cedarstrom's missed some pretty obvious strikes tonight.
LaStella is on deck, but Contreras has to get on base for Tommy to get a plate appearance. Two and 0. Sounds like a lot of things, but it can happen quickly. A 2-out walk, bring in Gore, steal second, LaStella base hit, tie game.
Yeah, that's kind of where my mind was going.
A strike called. 3-1.
Normally with 2 outs and nobody on, you're looking to slug, you're looking for an extra base hit, but because of Gore's speed, walk is almost as good as the double. He's so tough to throw out.
There it is, ball 4.
And here he comes.
Jose Oquendo was the secret weapon with the Cardinals way back when, and now Terrence Gore is that guy for the Cubs. Yeah, and he's not in the game to be passive over there at first.
No, he takes an aggressive lead. Everybody knows he's going to try to steal second base here. He's been successful a high percent of the time in his major league career. Or listed at 5'7", 165. As fast as anybody in the game.
And Oquendo was not a secret weapon because he stole bases. I think it was because he was a super utility guy, right?
Yeah, played all over the place.
So a chance.
25 steals, 7 caught with Kratz behind the plate. 42%. A good bit below league average.
Not running. And ball 1 to LaStella. There are 2 ways Jeffress can play this here. One is to do everything he can to give Kratz a chance, or to just kind of try to make a pitch and not worry about it.
Plan B is probably the best plan from the Brewers' point of view.
Still not going, and a strike on a curve.
Maybe they were waiting for strike 1. Thinking, well, if he loses command, he worries too much about Gore. Maybe he'll walk LaStella as well. Now that he's thrown strike 1, I think Terrence will be looking to go here sooner rather than later. He's not getting as aggressive a lead as we've seen him get in the past.
He takes off. The pitch is a strike. The throw. Not in time. So it's 1 and 2 on LaStella, but an outfield hit will tie the game.
Like an infield hit might tie the game with this guy's speed. Again, not a great lead. He has the ability to carry so much speed into the bag with a late slide and still maintain contact with the base. Kratz makes it fairly close. So many times you see guys going that hard that late, they're going to pop up off the bag and be susceptible to a replay. brief little moment where they've lost contact with the base, but so far with Gore, we have not seen that.
Even if it's all about the hitter.
Even if he's thrown out there, I think that's a good play. I mean, there's so many times you see teams be a little timid late in games, not try to steal that bag.
I'm with you. A ball and 2 strikes to LaStella. Jeffress ready. Here's the pitch. Pulled foul. And you're absolutely right, by the way. I mean, Gore was 2 steps from third base when that ball rattled around in the dugout. So any ball that makes an infielder make a tough play to first, he's going to try to score.
Oh, he got away with one. Hanging breaking ball is one of those that stayed up so high that LaStella couldn't do anything with it. Now, if you're the Brewers, you'd hate to put the winning run on base. At the same time, LaStella is such an accomplished pinch hitter. I understand if Craig Counsell had a meeting with his pitcher and said, hey, man, be careful here. If you end up walking him, so be it.
Brewers hang on as Jeffress strikes out LaStella. And Milwaukee is within 1 game of the division lead. 3-2 the final, and the winning run scored on a wild pitch.
Yeah, well, nobody said it was going to be easy, and the thing that this matchup underscores is just how good the Brewers bullpen is right now, and the fact that the Cubs pen is scuffling a little bit. Tough to beat this team late on days when Josh Hader is available. I mean, he came in there 2 innings and struck everybody out, did a lot of heavy lifting, setting the table for Jeffress. And of bigger concern, maybe John Lester leaving this ball game with low back soreness. Hopefully that's not anything that's going to linger for too long. Not a good day for the home team.
So the Cubs have dropped 3 straight. The Brewers have won 4 in a row. Josh Hader is a subject of the toast of the game, presented by Binny's Beverage Depot. Binny's is the official champagne provider of the Chicago Cubs. He needed 24 pitches to strike out all 6 batters he faced as he got a hold. And that'll wrap things up for JD, for Kelly, and our entire NBC Sports Chicago crew. Len Casper with your final. Milwaukee 3 and the Cubs 2. Join us again on Thursday at 2:30 for a pregame coverage from D.C. The Cubs and the Nationals in the makeup game. And coming up next, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois post-game live. Stay tuned.